Well, hey there. Welcome to our chill Bible study stream. We're just hanging out and reading the book of Numbers today, going through this nifty reading plan here that you can find in the resources link in the description of this video. And we are, where are we? Numbers 26 out of 36. So we're going to make some progress and hopefully finish the Bible deep dive in 3 years. Not just broad overview, but going chapter by chapter, narratively in order, so that we understand the full context. So, all right. Let's see, where did we leave off? Let me take one of these out. Israel just said, basically, screw you, God, we don't want to go in the promised land. And God said, okay. So we're looking at a census of a new generation. Feel free to follow along, and if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat, or you can even join on Zoom using the QR code or the link in the description. Okay, all the sons of Israel, 20 years old and upward. Okay, Reuben. That's right. 43. Okay. Palu. Mouth and swallowed them up along with Korah. Simeon. Sons of Gad. Oh, these census passages are killing me. I'm already pretty low energy today, so there's a good chance I'll keep this stream short. Okay, we've got Reuben. We've got Simeon. And $40,500. Sons of Judah. How are you doing, Sons of Judah? These are the families of Judah. 76,500. Okay, the sons of Issachar. I believe that's our 5th sibling. Oh man, these tribes are so complicated. There's so many different people groups now within the nation of Israel. Or they're not even like a... I guess, yeah, nation is the right word. They're not a kingdom yet. 64,300. Sons of Zebulun. Oh, his is pretty straightforward. The sons of Joseph. According to their families, Manasseh and Ephraim, which we learned they're divided up into 2 tribes to account for the Levites not being counted in people who go to war. Okay, yeah. Families of Manasseh, 52,700. And the sons of Ephraim, 32,500. So they get counted as separate tribes, which would be 7 and 8. We found that out in a previous live stream. Okay, sons of Benjamin. Shouldn't have put my pen away. Benjamin is number 9, if I have it right. $45,600. The sons of Dan. Be 10. $64,400. Sons of Asher. Asher will be number 11. $53,400. The sons of Naphtali should be the last one at 12. Aha, yes, we did it. We did it, chat. We did it right on the first try. Okay, those who numbered the sons of Israel, 601,730. I wonder how that compares to the previous census. Since this is several chapters later, let's just peek back a little bit. A lot has happened. A lot of people have died, but I'd be willing to bet that the number of babies born exceeds the number of people who died because they were not following God. They were not, they were misleading the people. Okay, where are you? People rebel, most of the people. Wow, okay, this is very far back. We're going all the way back to the beginning of Numbers. Wow, we've covered a lot of ground, I just realized. Whew. Okay. Okay. All the numbered men were 603,550. Whoa! And currently 601,730. Whew. So we've lost about 2,000 people. That's crazy, because I feel like the first census takes up like 2 pages, basically. This census takes up 3 pages. It's more complicated, but there's less people. That's pretty wild. Huh. Maybe not as much time has passed as I thought, even though we're 26 chapters in. I don't know. Let's see. Because this is a census of a new generation. Are people just like dying off as fast as they're being born? Because that's kind of crazy. Sorry, my phone is blowing up, and I'm a parent, so I need to check this. Okay. All right. All good. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, among these the land shall be divided for an inheritance according to the number of names. Okay. So, inheritance is according to the number of people, but the land is divided by lot, which is like roll of a dice, random. I think. They shall receive their inheritance according to the names of the tribe of their fathers. According to selection by the lot, their inheritance shall be divided between the larger and smaller groups. And then we get the Levites separately, just like in the other census. Wow. We get a special aside here. These are the families of Levi. Levi was the father of Kohath, who's the father of Amram, whose wife is Jochebed. The daughter of Levi, a little strange, or maybe just the daughter of means in the same family tree. Aaron, Moses, and Miriam. Cool. We got a nice little aside to talk about the leaders of Israel at this point. Okay, 23,000 Levites. How does that compare previously? Is 22,000? Yeah. And now it's 23,000. So the Levites have grown. Among these, there was not a man. Those who were numbered was Aaron the priest, who numbered the sons of Israel in the wilderness in Sinai. Ah, okay, here we go. That's the important thing. So they probably have grown, but they're excluding everyone who was 20 years old and upward from the first census. That's key. So yeah, some people have probably died of old age. We get some people who have died in the narratives, but we have 600,000 people. Well, men. It only number the men. Yeah. 600,000 men who were under the age of 20. Or not born yet. From the previous census. That's pretty wild. Not a man was left of them except Caleb and Joshua. I'm just kind of realizing that they're being set up as the new Moses and Aaron. Potentially. We'll see how that goes. Okay. What? Music just dropping out of nowhere. That's odd. Strange. Okay. The daughters of Zelophehad. Came near. These are the names of his daughters. Mala, Noah, Hogla, Milcah, and Tirzah. The name Tirzah sounds familiar for some reason. I noticed it earlier too, but I thought I was seeing things. Oh my gosh. Why? What is happening? Okay, I don't care what you play. Just play. Okay. I think we're good. That was so odd. My SIRI on my computer was activating, and then my music kept changing. But it was like rapidly switching back and forth between songs on this playlist. That's so weird. I don't know. I have no explanation for that. Okay. They stood before Moses and before Eleazar. They said, our father died in the wilderness. Not among the company of those who gathered themselves together. Died in his own sin, had no sons. I think they were mentioned. Well, yeah, they were mentioned earlier, but they had a little aside that maybe I skimmed over too quickly. This is Manasseh. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, Zelophehad had no sons, only daughters. They were Mala, Noah, Hagla, Milcah, and Tirzah. I'm glad I caught it now. I probably should have caught it earlier because it was kind of a break in the pattern. But sometimes you don't know until you keep reading, and then you can look back and find it. See, if I was just reading one chapter at a time, then I would have missed it. But since I read 26 and now 27 in the same sitting, I'm getting the bigger picture. Okay. Why should the name of our father be withdrawn? Give us a possession. That's fair. You know? Just because he had no sons, we just say, sorry, daughters, no dice. Moses brought their case before the Lord, and the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, the daughters are right in their statements. That's very progressive for a god of this era. You shall surely give them a hereditary possession among their father's brothers, and transfer the inheritance of their father to them. Good on them for speaking up. That must have taken courage. Speak to the sons of Israel, saying, oh, wow. If a man dies and has no son, then you shall transfer his inheritance to his daughter. Today, we just split among all biological siblings, I think, as a standard. I don't know, I'm not an expert. But saying that a daughter gets an inheritance is wildly progressive for this culture. This is wild. There's so many addendums to this. If a man dies and has no son, then the daughter gets the inheritance. If he has no daughter, then give it to his brothers. If he has no brothers, give it to his father's brothers. If his father has no brothers, give his inheritance to his nearest relative in his own family, and he shall possess it. Very thorough, I gotta say. Then the Lord said to Moses, go up this mountain of Abarim. Going up the mountain takes us closer to God in the way that they write. And see the land which I have given to the sons of Israel. At least Moses gets to see it. Oh yeah, here we go. For in the wilderness of Zin, during the strife of this congregation, you rebelled against my command to treat me as holy before their eyes at the water. May the Lord one man go and come before them. So the Lord said to Moses, take Joshua, the son of Nun, have him stand before Eleazar the priest, and commission him in their sight. Put some of your authority on him. Interesting. I like this. I like the public commissioning. I feel like that's a good practice. And also the transfer of some authority, not all authority. We're gonna give him a trial run. Okay. Moses did just as the Lord commanded him. Okay, and now we get some more laws, some more fun laws. We're on chapter 28. Oh, man. Whew. Careful to present my offering. This is the offering by fire. Do this every day. One in the morning, one at twilight. Ordained in Mount Sinai. Drink offering. Twilight. On the Sabbath day. This is so hard to follow. Oh my gosh. Okay. I think it's just saying to double it on the Sabbath day. This is the burnt offering of every Sabbath in addition to the continual burnt offering and a tree. Okay, yeah. Double it for the Sabbath. The way that they write can just be so overwhelming sometimes because it's like, here's 5 paragraphs detailing this offering. And it's all just to say, like, on the Sabbath day, do it twice. Do 2 in the morning, 2 in the evening, rather than 1 in the morning and 1 in the evening. Oh my gosh. See, this is why we have to do so much work to understand the Bible in English, because I think we look at this and we just glaze over it, and it's trying to tell us something. We just have to learn how to read it and then interpret it from ancient Hebrew to modern English. Ugh. It's a pain, but it's necessary and it's important. The Bible would be much shorter if it was written to Americans. Okay. Beginning of each of your months. Present a burnt offering. 2 bulls, 1 ram. 7 male lambs. 3/10 of an ephah of flour. Ephah of flour. 1/10 of an ephah of flour with oil. And 1 male goat. Okay. On the 14th day of the first month shall be the Lord's Passover. And then the 15th day starts the Feast of Unleavened Bread for 7 days. After this manner you shall present daily for 7 days. And the 7th day you rest. First day, on the day of first fruits, Feast of Weeks. You shall rest. I'm saying you shall rest, but the actual statement is, you shall have a holy convocation, and you shall do no laborious work. Man. I know rest is an oversimplification, but I don't want to say that every single time. Here's this phrase again. Also, 1 male goat. Okay. Offerings of the 7th month. You shall rest. It will be to you a day for blowing trumpets. So that's like heralding something, like praising or announcing, honoring. We talked about that in the last stream. Burnt offering, grain offering, sin offering. On the 10th day, another holy convocation. You shall humble yourselves. You shall not do any work. Burnt offering. Grain offering. Sin offering. On the 15th day, another holy convocation. No laborious work, and you shall observe a feast for 7 days. Burnt offering, grain offering, sin offering. They're checking all the boxes every time. I'm mostly just looking to see if the pattern breaks. That's all in one day. Okay, on the second day, burnt offering, grain. They don't say burnt offering, but they have a list for the burnt offering. Grain offering, sin offering. Third day, are they doing crazy sacrifices every single day of these feasts? This feast? Okay. Burnt offering, grain offering, sin offering. Fourth day. Burnt offering, grain offering, sin offering. Fifth day. Burnt offering. Grain offering. Sin offering. Okay, I think I'm recognizing something. So I'm gonna fast forward 6th day, 7th day, 8th day. Okay. So on day 1, 13 bulls, 2 rams, 14 male lambs. Second day, 1 less bull, same amount of rams, 14 male lambs. Third day, 1 less bull, 2 rams, 14 male lambs. Okay. So every day, there's less and less bulls for the burnt offering. But it looks like everything else stays the same. Because then we get 10 bulls, 9 bulls, 8 bulls. Interesting. On the 7th day, so on day 1 we get 14 bulls. No. 13 bulls. Because then when we subtract 1 every day, on the 7th day we get 7 bulls. And 2 rams and 14 male lambs, which is 7 times 2. Interesting that the 7s line up. I'm not sure what it means, but typically when you see a lot of 7s together, it's something important. On the 8th day, not a holy convocation. See, that's why it's important to understand the language. But a solemn assembly and no laborious work. And then we do away with the pattern. 1 bull, 1 ram, 7 male lambs. So half as many rams, half as many lambs. Now we're rhyming. Whew. And Moses spoke this to everyone, and someone wrote it down so that thousands of years later, I could read it on a live stream. Doesn't say that last part. Okay. Chapter 30. We're almost there. If a man makes a vow to the Lord, or takes an oath to bind himself, he shall not violate his word. Oh my gosh, my highlighter is messed up. So it's highlighting the wrong line. There we go. If a woman makes a vow and binds herself by an obligation in her father's house in her youth, and her father hears her vow, and the father says nothing to her, all her vows shall stand. But if her father forbids her, none of her vows shall stand. Very different culture. If she should marry under her vows or the rash statement of her lips, and her husband hears of it, says nothing, on the day that he hears it, her vow shall stand. But if her husband forbids her, then he shall annul her vow, and the Lord will forgive her. What needs forgiving? I think that's not translating into English. Is it saying that we should just not make vows and oaths to bind ourselves? I don't know. And why does it only say the Lord will forgive her for the women, not the men? For the vow of a widow or of a divorced woman shall stand against her. If she vowed in her husband's house, husband heard it, said nothing, all her vows shall stand. If her husband annuls them, whatever comes of that shall not stand. Again, the Lord will forgive her. What is going on? Every vow and every binding oath to humble herself, her husband may confirm it or annul it. If her husband indeed says nothing, then he confirms all her vows. If he annuls them after he has heard them, then he shall bear her guilt. What? This chapter just doesn't make any sense. It's so out of nowhere. Okay, let's look up commentary. commentary, please. Can you? Commentary. Thank you. Numbers 30. Okay, let's show this on the screen here. There's nothing on the screen. Let's fix that real quick. There we go. All right. The regulations here lay down about vows concerning the ordinary routine of sacrifices. See verse 39 of the last chapter. You shall present these to the Lord at your appointed times besides your votive offerings and your free will offerings. Is that what it's talking about? Is a votive offering, I guess, is a vow. I guess that makes sense. So this is about sacrifices. Actually, it appears that there's more forgiveness for women than men here. Now that I'm reading through it again. Because it says if a man makes a vow to the Lord, he shall not violate his word. And there's nothing about if he doesn't do it. But then there's a whole bunch of stuff about essentially protections for women. It is strange because it comes across as like she needs her husband or her father's permission. But as someone who is valued less societally, then God is providing regulations for forgiveness. And the men will be held accountable. I think because they have more power, the men are being held to a higher standard. And if he messes up with his wife and doesn't lead in the right direction, I guess, is a way to say it, then he's held accountable. This is not something that we see in our society today in America. So it's really, really strange. But I think what's happening here is actually a benefit, a protection for women. Yeah. I'm feeling pretty confident about that. At least for now. I'm going to say this is a standard set for men. I got to slow down so that my handwriting is legible. Standard set for men protections set for woman. Woman can be forgiven. Men not applicable. As far as I can tell in the reading of this passage, and a little help from this commentary, the pulpit commentary. Nor does there seem to be any valid reasoning for explaining away the apparently fragmentary and dislocated character of these two sections. Suggests that this chapter was inserted by some other hand or from a different source. Interesting. Well, very cool. Thank you, Bible Hub. Oh, excuse me. For providing that commentary. That is very helpful. All right, that concludes chapter 30. We are continuing to make our way through the book of Numbers, and I will be here doing so same time next week. Feel free to check out our YouTube page for more, and yeah, that's gonna be it for today. So thank you to everyone joining, and everyone joining on the VOD. And last thing that I wanted to say, which has escaped my mind. Oh, I'm here doing this every Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific time for about an hour. So feel free to join live if you are watching back. So yeah, thanks for joining, and hope to see you later.